Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be making a birthday badge. I'm going to start off by showing you my die cut machine to begin with. So I've got this Cuttlebug that is a very old machine that is made by Craft. I've literally had this over 10 years. I used to make cards and it comes with various plates. I think I did buy this plate as an extra because these two B plates are the ones that came with, which are thinner than this plate. And then obviously you've got the A plate as well. Now this works with a variety of dies. Sorry, I just hit the camera. And for my birthday badge, I'm just using my AliExpress dies. I will link everything that I use in the description below. These I got from AliExpress. They're just like a sort of scalloped flower shape, whatever you want to call it, and I just thought they're ideal for making hair bows with, and they're also ideal for the badges. So these are what I'm using for my badge, and I've also got some plain circle ones without the scallop, which are also good to use. And for my number, I've got this wooden die, and this wooden die has got the numbers and then the surround for the numbers as well. This was also from AliExpress. Now these dies, they cut through most fabrics, chunky fabrics, fine glitter fabrics, felt, whereas these thin metal dies, they won't cut so well through chunky fabric. I do run them through my machine still with chunky fabric, and then when I run it through my machine, so for example on this one, I make sure I put the die on the bottom side rather than on the glitter side, and then if it's not cut right through, you can see the outline, and then you can just finish it off with scissors. But that does cut fairly well. That cuts through a little bit, just enough just to ease it off with the scissors. And then this really fine pink fabric, these did cut through this quite well. So yeah, I still use these on most fabrics, even if I have to finish off with scissors. Whereas this one, this will cut through most fabrics. When I use the thin dies like this, I use my A plate, my thicker plate, which hasn't got a number on it, which I think I did buy as an extra, and then one of my B plates, and these three together work with the thinner dies. And then when I'm cutting with my wooden die, I only need to use the wooden die straight on the machine with one of my B plates like that. And also with this machine, another good tip is these are obviously back to front. I just cut enough piece of fabric just to cover my number, and you want your fabric also up on the die the wrong way. So I will lay it on my machine like this, cut out a piece of fabric, lay it over my number so that the wrong side is facing upwards, and that way when you cut out your number, that will be the correct way round. So to save time, I've already ran my fabrics through my machine and cut out all the elements that I need for my badge. So I have used a baby pink fine glitter for the main background of my bow, and because this is a fine fabric, I'm backing it with a piece of pink felt. So I've cut out a piece in the same size in this pink felt, so that is to back my badge. And also we will use this to attach our brooch pin. These brooch pins were also from AliExpress. I will link them in the description below. And then for the top layer of the badge, I'm using just a plain white felt, and for this piece I used not the next one down from the biggest, but the third one down. So they go in sort of this order for size. So I used the biggest one for the outside, and then I could have went for the next size up, but I wanted to see quite a little bit of glitter around that edge. So I went for the third size down for the middle. And then obviously for my number, I'm doing a number 1 for a first birthday. And I used my wooden die from AliExpress. So now we're ready to put our badge together. But first of all, because I wanted to back this fabric with this felt, but we need to add in our brooch pin first. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark where my brooch pin is going to go. So I want it around 1/3 of the way down from the top. And this has got little dots in it. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to mark with a pen where those dots are. And then just next to those dots, I'm going to cut a couple of little slits in there. And to do that, I'm going to fold it. So I'm just folding it where these dots are. And then I'm just going to cut a little slit either side. Just making sure that's all the way through. And the same next to the other dot. Just a little slit like that. Now this is actually a ready sticky backed felt. Now you can use normal felt because then you can just hot glue it onto your fabric, or you can use sticky back. Because I already had this one in a pink, that is just what I'm using today. So I'm going to actually take this off first because I want to add in my pin. So to add the pin, you need to undo it. So this is a safety pin one where you have to spin that piece round to get the sharp bit out. And then this is obviously going to be on the back. So on the back you'll have this bit. So you want to go in from the sticky side, or don't matter if you're not using already sticky felt. And I'm just going to push that into there. And also that end, push that through the slit. And then do the same with the other end. Push that through that slit, like that. And as you can see, that's through there. Because it's sticky, I can't move it across. But I'm just going to do it up again so I don't prick myself. And then just push that across so that's in the middle. And that is now the pin on there like that. And now we're ready to back our glitter fabric. So lining up those scalloped edges. I'm just going to push that all the way down, lining up all of those edges. So now we've got this. Now obviously if it wasn't sticky backed, I would just start gluing around the top half and then work my way down. I wouldn't put hot glue over the whole thing because obviously hot glue sets quite quickly. So I would just start at the top and start sticking it down towards the bottom, and don't put hot glue too close to the edge so that it seeps out. But that is basically what you're after, with the pin all nicely neat in the back there. So now we're ready to stick on our white piece of felt. Now again, this has already got the sticky back, so I can just simply peel this off and stick it down. But like I said, it's absolutely fine just to use hot glue on a plain felt. And now we can add on our number one. So obviously first of all we're going to layer this up. So taking a hot glue gun and your top number one, you want to just place some glue on there, but not too much so that it seeps out over the edge, and be careful of your fingers. And then just lay it on the top of that surrounding piece so it looks like this. And now we're ready to stick it onto our badge. So making sure I've got that the right way up, I'm going to stick that in the middle of that top layer. like that. Now if you wanted a simple badge, you could then leave that like that. You didn't have to do anything else to that. That is ready to wear. But I'm going to add some little tails to give it sort of like a rosette sort of look. Now I've already cut 2 tails in pink, which I'm going to pop onto the bottom, but I also want to bring out the white in the number 1. So using the same fabric as I used in the number 1, I'm going to cut out 2 more tails. So I didn't cut those out on purpose so that I could show you how I did these. So just move my bits and pieces to one side. So taking a pen and a ruler. Now I use my board because it's got like the measurements on it. These are centimetre squares. So I line the fabric up so that it's in line with the lines on my board. And then using a ruler, I like my tails to be 2.5 centimetres wide. So if I look on my board here, you've got 1, 2.5. So I'm just going to mark a little dot there just so you can see that that is 2.5 centimetres. And these tails are 8 centimetres in length. These ones I'm going to do 7.5 centimetres. So as you can see, I have lined my ruler up at 7.5 centimetres, and it's also in line so I know that it's straight on my board. And I'm going to draw a straight line all the way across. So that will be for one tail. Now you could do another one 2.5 centimetres next to it, but I'm going to go down my fabric this way. So I'm going to go along this edge. Again, I'm just going to put a little line there so I know where the next one starts. My ruler is bent, which doesn't help. And I'm going to draw another line all the way down to the 0. So 7.5 centimetres and then another 7.5 centimetres. So I'm going to cut this out. And when I cut these out, I cut just inside the pen line, so that you've got no pen showing on the back of the fabric. And now to cut the little V in the end, you want to fold the fabric in half. And from this open edge, you want to cut from the open edge up diagonally. And I like to curve it a little bit just to soften up that point. So it looks like that. So these, as you can see, like I said, was slightly smaller. So these were 8 centimetres in length by 2.5, and these are 2.5 by 7.5 centimetres. So now we are going to layer these tails up. So taking a piece of white and the pink, we're going to layer them up, but not directly on top of each other like this. We're going to angle this white top layer in slightly, so it kind of comes in the middle of this bottom where this V shape is. This point is in the middle, if that makes sense. My words didn't quite want to come out then. So I'm just going to take my hot glue gun and just glue that across the top there to hold it into place. And then I'm going to do the same with the other 2 pieces, but the opposite way, making sure they look the same. So I'm doing them the same but opposite. I'm placing a bit of glue at the top there, like that. Now if you decide you're adding tails from the start, I wouldn't stick on the back felt layer. I would do that last. Now I've obviously already done mine just to show you that you can make a badge just like this on its own, but because I'm adding the tails, I want to stick my tails underneath my back felt bit. Now because I used sticky felt, luckily I can just peel this up and add the tails on. But if you're using felt and you're hot gluing it on and you are adding tails, I would add this piece last. That way you can sandwich the tails between the front part of the bow and the felt, just so it's all nice and neat and tidy. So I'm just going to lay these down on my table at the angle I'd like them at. I'm just going to lay my badge over just to get a rough idea. So I want it about like that. So I'm just going to start with one. And what you want to do is, obviously I'm going by my scallops, so this is the middle of the bottom, the middle of this scallop, and I want my tail to come out through the middle of the bottom. And then if I just turn this over, holding that in place, I can then glue those tails on. And then grab the other tails. And also layer them under the felt. Make sure they're the same length. And then I'm going to glue those down. And it's then at this point where you can then glue on your back piece with your pin on. But I'm obviously doing it a different way around. So I'm just going to pop some glue all over these. I know that is a sticky back, but I want to make sure this has a good stick because it's got to cover those tails and keep them sandwiched in there nicely. So that will just give it some extra staying power. So that just makes it look neater at the back if you pop your felt over the top of those tails. And then this is the front. Now again, you can then leave it like this, or you can embellish it. Now I'm just going to show you, I made this earlier, this bow with some roses on and the flowers to match my badge so I can sell it as a set. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some roses onto my badge just to tie these both in together. So I've got these gorgeous mulberry paper flowers, which I got from eBay, and I have also got some stamen. I got these in a variety of colours. I've got more as well, and I got these from AliExpress. I'll link these in the description below, and I'm going to be using this baby pink. I've cut off a little bunch here already, and I'm just going to pull out the flowers I need. So I'm going to use a light pink and a white, and I've also got these smaller little flowers, these smaller ones here, and I'm going to use a couple of the pink and a couple of white of these also. So I'm going to start around halfway and just work my way up. So starting off with a nice pink rose, I'm going to place that at the bottom. And because it's going to be an end one, I'm angling it slightly towards this way. And then I'm going to go for a little pink and a little white of these little flowers here. These little ones came from AliExpress. As I said, I will link everything that I've used in the description below. So I'm going to pop this one. And here, and this one next to that one. And then I'm going to go for a white rose. And then another two of these small ones. Right, this one's pink, so I'll put the pink one at the bottom this time, because on this one I've done the pink at the top and the white at the bottom. So I'm going to do the pink here at the bottom and this whiter shade, just cut a little bit more of that stem off. I'll place this one at the top next to that one, and then we'll go for a pink rose, but I also want to stick these guys on, so I'm going to go for these first. So I'm just going to place some glue on these and pop my rose on the top. So that they're coming out from the side of that rose. It's all sticking to my finger now. Just cut off that green piece of paper and then popping some glue under that rose, and we will finish that off on that end. And there you have your finished birthday badge with matching bow. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial today. If you did, please hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and also press the bell button, and that way you will get notified whenever I upload any new videos. If you've got any questions, pop them into the comments below and I'll do my best to get back to you. Thank you for watching, everyone. Take care. Bye bye.